Hey there, Goa fans. Mark, aka DJ Solitaire, here with episode 7 of Retro Goa Explorations. This track is the only released track that I know of by this particular project, and the two musicians from this project went on to have their very successful solo projects. Absolutely brilliant musicians. We have Jyoti Sidhu, who was the head honcho of and mastermind, I should say, behind Psychaos. And then there is Paul Jackson, who was the phenomenal musical mind behind Voodoo People. And together they had a very brief collaboration as Arcturus. And the one released track that I know of, and I know there is one unreleased one, which I've gotten, is also fantastic, but that's not what we're focusing on today. This is 1,000 Planets, and it is the second track on that ever classic Dragonfly Order Odonata Volume 1. Now, the title is so perfect, as are the samples, as is everything about the track. I mean, it's just killer. And there's a lot of things that it's got going for it. There's a lot of alien sounds in the sense that none of it sounds terrestrial, right? But one of the things about this music and this really electronic sounding music is the sounds don't bring to mind any earthy instruments, right? Like you hear a violin, you imagine a violin, you hear a piano, you imagine a piano. There's nothing that really comes to mind when you hear these sounds, unless you're a producer and you've worked with this music and you say, oh, that's the sound, or that's that sound. But not the case here. And sometimes ignorance really is bliss. And so the sounds have, there's notes that are played, but some of them are only pitched. So we hear sounds that don't correspond to the notes on a musical scale, but they just have sound tonality, like a sound that goes up and goes down, and it has a certain frequency, but it's not pitched as most conventional musical instruments are. And that's one of the things that gives it this kind of otherworldly flavor. They've also chosen fantastic spoken samples that really communicate a lot of the mindset of considering a life beyond our planet. So I'm sure this is one of the tracks that Ollie would have played at that first party that I was at in late '94. But yeah, this is just exactly that kind of atmosphere. Absolutely brilliant track. So what do you say? I'm just going to put it on. I'll do a little bit of talking while the track plays, just pointing out this or that. And then I'll present the track afterwards complete. Okay, here we go. 1,000 Planets. One more note. BPM is only 132. Now, this is exceptionally slow by today's standards. Everything tends to be, 140 and up. The average tends to be about 145 these days. So 132 sounds slow to modern ears. But when you listen to this track, I don't think it sounds slow. It really sounds pretty pumping. So there's a lot of reasons behind that, but I think this is kind of amazing to consider. So let's listen. 1,000 Planets.
There's 1,000 planets out there.
Okay, so again, we have this bass line that's rhythmic. It's not all on the beat. And the harmony includes a minor third. And this kick comes in, beautiful. And we've got this sound that's going up, and then it goes down, and it's rhythmic, syncopated, so not all on the beat. So this up and down figuration is just like these waves, like everything in life consists of waves, sound waves, light waves, and so on. So you simultaneously have this pitched, syncopated bass line that includes a minor third, and then that up and down, kind of more optimistic, dare I say, quality. And both can be heard super clearly, as can the kick. Beautiful spacey sounds. And now, gorgeous riff. Again, that's just just a little bit of a dancey rhythm to it, just a little bit offbeat. Beautiful harmonic element to it. So again, the rhythm not just being on each of the strong beats. And this other one coming in. And so there's a real playful quality to it, right? Really joyful and exuberant whooshes. There's a kind of gnarly kind of sound in there. So, you know, they're working with all of the frequency levels really well, which actually ties in with something that's coming up. Now another riff. It's these arpeggios. It's pattern, another pattern is going up and down. This one is with tones, not just with the atonal pitches. Here, that beautiful little riff. This has a really floaty quality to it. A bit of a sheet metal kind of sound to it, so that different texture really adds some more dimension. Again, notice how it's all stuff we've been presented with in addition with this new piece, and they all play well together. Kick drops out a little bit. Now comes back. And then this brilliant sample right here.
All channels and frequency clear.
What a great way to trip you out. And just positive association of clearing your own channels and frequencies. That's kind of what this up and down, I think, figurations can do. Now there's this little playful kind of little riff there. Build up. And that comes back. There's also a question and answer intonation to it. Goes up, goes down. So vocal intonation does that. Up and then down. Question and answer. All of these elements with different rhythms, not all of them fully based on the strong beats, and they're all playing together well in that whoosh. And you know, there's this upbeat, even though there's that minor third as part of the bass line, there's a very upbeat energy to the track. Sound on that little drum-like thing is amazing. That's beautiful. Up and down stuff. This other sound is kind of gnarly. Sort of like rev your engines. Rev your UFO engine. Add some rhythm as well as texture. That one comes back. Brilliant structuring, right? Full storyline with all these elements that we've already heard, just really creatively dropped in and coming out and coming back. Again, that sort of floaty sheet metal kind of sound. So brilliant.
There's 1,000 planets out there.
Just dropping in that fantastic sample. Love the shifting in the accent. accents as well as the rhythm. Started from the top and coming down now. Great harmonic and melodic bits coming together. One more round, I think, and then it starts to wrap up. We just have that little bit coming. Going up and down. What a killer. And so many elements that are working there. There's the buoyant rhythm, the minor third. There's 3 notes in the bass line, but there's a minor third in there, which adds that sort of mystical sort of quality, and yet there's a lot of major key stuff going on above. So it's that dance between major and minor. There's the musical toned riffs that are happening, plus there's the pitched stuff that doesn't have tones like musical keys associated with it, simultaneously working. Everything has something that has a rhythmic variance. And so all of those things give a sense of propulsion, as well as the lightness of the tracking, how everything is overlaid and works together. Absolutely jaw-droppingly phenomenal. And 132 BPM, right? So, you know, that Star Trek, all samples, was it all channels and frequencies clear? Brilliant way to drop it in, and you don't need to know that it's from Star Trek to be able to appreciate it, right? It's a sample that doesn't have to have earthly cultural ties to it. The message itself about channels and frequencies being clear works on, you know, if you think about your energy system having channels and frequencies and clearing that, and then you just imagine, you know, you being able to psychedelically, cosmically, psychically connect on other channels and frequencies, and it just works on a whole lot of levels. So the words on their own make great sense, as well as that there's 1,000 planets out there, and when you're in that open-minded trance-like state, especially listening to this kind of music and with the right decor, and if you're under the stars, I mean, it all just really comes together. So phenomenal production by Jyoti Sidhu of Psychaos and Paul Jackson of Voodoo People, both of whom will be featured for some of their amazing tracks in upcoming episodes. But for now, going to wrap up and present on its own the brilliant Arcturus track that they created, 1,000 Planets. DJ Solitaire signing off for now. Catch you next time.
There's 1,000 planets out there.
clear.
Thousand planets out